My name is Bill Lomax. Here is a story of a life-changing event when I was just 22 years old. It was the Thursday of the first week in September 1951, and like all young men over 18 in those days, I was conscripted into the army for 2 years' national service. I was ordered to report to the Tower of London, that grim old fortress by the side of the River Thames, to join the City of London Regiment, the Royal Fusiliers, who proudly wore a white feathery hackle attached to their cap badge. As I passed over the drawbridge and through the gates, my comfy pampered civilian life changed to one of strict military discipline, ordered about every minute at the double by ferocious non-commissioned officers, standing to attention when addressed by anyone of higher rank, only permitted to sleep in bed between lights out 2300 hours and Reveille 0600 hours. Under no circumstances were we allowed to leave the tower. That was called absence without leave. And especially we had to remember to salute all commissioned officers when we passed them. We were taken up to this stark barrack room up 3 flights of stone stairs, and there I met the other 40 men, new recruits to this platoon, and we looked round at our new home, a barren stone-walled room with 2 lines of iron beds with thin mattresses, a kit box, a chair, and nothing else, no home comforts at all. And many of these young men had never been away from home for any long period before. Very soon an NCO, non-commissioned officer, led us to the army barber for the shortest of short crew cuts. We couldn't tell him how I wanted our hair cut. It was just shaved off with this great big razor-like machine. And then 40 closely shorn, bewildered young men were taken to the quartermaster's stores to stand in a line where we were piled up with a mountain of army kit, almost too heavy to carry. We staggered back up the 3 flights of stairs to the barrack room, and we had to take off all our clothes and then put on the army denims, the workaday kit that we used to drill in, and so on. We weren't allowed to wear our best uniforms then, but worst of all, we were given a large sheet of brown paper, string, and an address, and we had to parcel up all our civilian clothes, so cutting off our final connection with home and past life. For the rest of the day we were instructed on how to make up our beds, military fashion, how to lay out our kit on the bed each morning with geometrical precision, how to fold our blankets in army fashion, all to be in identical rows from one end of the barrack room to the other, all ready for that dreaded morning inspection, when if we got it wrong we'd have to do it again at 11 before we went to bed. This was accompanied by dire warnings of what would befall us if one made the smallest mistake. And then, night lights out, the bugle, into bed, no talking allowed. The next day, 600 hours, Reveille, the bugle, jump out of bed as an NCO entered the room to ensure there were no laggards. Quick ablutions in cold water at the bottom of those 3 steps, 3 stairs of steps. Then into the denim uniform and onto parade to be taken for a breakfast, where we stood in queues holding our plates and the food was slapped on them. And then we were directed to a seat. Couldn't sit where we wanted, we had to sit where we were told, carrying our 2 plates and mug, our fork, knife and spoon. Quick eat up. wash our dishes in the communal sink, then back to the barrack room to make up the beds and lay out our kits for inspection. Every day followed the same routine. Foot drill on the parade square. We were told we were horrible little men if we got it wrong. Rifle drill. Then there was physical training. We had to double down to this empty moat twice a day to do the press-ups. Oh, it was horrible. Practiced lessons in kit maintenance and lining up for those enormous numbers of injections and inoculations that all young national servicemen were given. We were thankful when 1800 hours arrived and it was tea time, and we thought we might be able to relax in the evening. But no. We were told that between tea time and 1100 hours, when we could go to bed, we were expected to be polishing the barrack room floor or polishing our kit. At 2300 hours, 11 o'clock civilian time, the last post sounded and we got into bed. We were allowed to sleep 7 hours, but no more. To be caught sleeping at other times was almost a criminal offence. One of the worst things, I think, was not being able to talk much to the other recruits. The NCOs who watched over us as we polished our kit and blancoed our belts didn't like us wasting time chatting. And above all, we were never allowed to complain at all. And this went on day after day. But after a week, there was a sign of relief. A few of us were transferred to another depot. We marched up to the top of Tower Hill to get the train to Canterbury, where we were to enlist again in the platoon of the Buffs. At the top of Tower Hill, I looked back. I saw the old castle, grim, and I thought, well, I've not been allowed to guard the town jewels there. I've never been confronted by Anne Boleyn's headless ghost. For the rest of my life, I can always say I lived and slept in the Tower of London. Thank you.